Hey everybody, my name is Rachel Solomon. I am an author and a speaker, and in 2017 I am focusing on finances. Thank you for watching the replay. Hello. Thank you for coming in. Not sure who came in, but thank you for watching. Just drinking a little hot tea before I get started here. Okay, so long story short, I was listening to the radio yesterday, and there was a guy on there. He was talking about investing, and he was an insurance salesman. So I understand you have to make people aware of your business. You have to make people aware of your customers. But the way he was representing himself was more like an investor, or like an advisor of investments. And it really pissed me off because here you are on the radio talking about yourself as an insurance broker or an insurance person, but you're making your insurance sound like an investment. And I'm like, this is horrible, because what about the people who don't understand stocks and bonds and all of that other stuff? I feel like if they had him on, they should have also had somebody else that represented the financial world a little better. Don't get me wrong now. I know I'm going to have my insurance people was like, blah, 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 blah. I've actually studied to sell insurance. I didn't take my test because I don't want to sell. I just want the knowledge. So what I'm getting ready to do right now is I got my little dry erase board behind me, and I want to share with some people who don't really understand why people say you can invest in insurance, and then on the other side, why that's not necessarily a good idea. And then I'm also going to share, thank you for joining, and then I'm also going to share, once I show you the different kinds of insurances and why they say it's an investment, but why I think it's not, then I'm also going to turn around and I'm going to show you what investments really look like. So I'm going to flip my camera so I can do the dry erase board so you guys can see. I'm going to be drawing while I'm talking. Thank you for the hearts, and if you feel like this information is valuable, please share. Okay, so let's talk about the insurance stuff, right? There's pretty much two different kinds of insurance. You have your long-term insurance. This thing has been working. Let's go. Hold on. Sorry. See if I can cheat it. See if I can cheat it. It's not gonna work. Of course it won't. Okay. Well, you guys can talk to me while I figure that out. Let me go get another one, because I teach kids all day long at home. So believe you me, I have plenty. But let's just talk in the meantime. You have long-term insurance and you have short-term insurance. So with the long-term insurance, the long-term is what it says, it's long-term, or life. There's a whole bunch of different kind of life products. What the insurance company did was, you know what, this is a great product. We can sell a lot of it if we add some investing to this kind of insurance. So let me put term and let me put long term. So what they did was they said, hey guys, how about we add some kind of savings to your long-term insurance? And people are like, oh wow, that means I can buy insurance and I can get savings. But the savings is not a savings account where the money actually goes to you or me. It's actually a loan that you can borrow on and pay interest. I'm sorry, but I don't want to pay you extra money just so I can turn around and borrow that money back later. I'd rather go here and pay term at a lower cost and then take the difference and put it in my own little savings account. Now, how they sell you is they're like, well, most people, they don't have the discipline to take the difference from the term and the long term, that money right there. They say most people, they don't have the difference to take that money and put it into a savings account. So let me do that for you. And so then you're like, oh, that sounds great. But they don't always explain to you all the terms between the two. So don't get me wrong. Do we need insurance? Yes. Why do we need insurance? We need insurance for when we die, RIP, and you can get, once you turn, I say 60 to 65, you should get long-term care. The reason you should get long-term care is because, unfortunately, if you have to go into a nursing home for some reason, then long-term care will pay for your nursing home. Thank you guys for entering. Thank you for entering. So you do need insurance, but you only need enough insurance to cover your death cost, and you can get some long-term insurance, long-term care. So if you have to go in a retirement home, your parents won't have to worry about that. You do not need insurance to invest, because really that savings is actually a loan that they will try and you'll end up having to pay interest on. So let's erase all of this. So this is a breakdown of the insurance stuff, and I hope you guys are helping. I don't see any hearts, so I don't know if you guys are learning or not. But I'm hoping that the information is useful. Thank you for the hearts. Okay, and if you didn't catch it all, I'm sorry. You can go back and watch the replay. I am going to leave this one up, I'm pretty sure. If for no other reason, I will leave it up for a couple hours. Okay, let's talk about insurance for kids and other. Okay, so let me tell you why. I told you why I think long-term care insurance is bad. Let me tell you why it is good. Long-term, not CT. Okay, so why long-term insurance is good. If everybody in your family, unfortunately, this is bad, but if everybody in your family dies at 65 and you buy insurance when you're 55, then you're like, okay, I only have 10 years. Well, if I get a 20-year policy, chances are I'm going to die within 10 years. I know this is gloomy. I'm sorry. I'm going to die within 10 years. And so it's good for me to have this policy for, a term. It's going to be cheaper, and then my family's going to get all this money, blah, blah, blah. But if you have no clue when you are going to die, everybody in your family die at different ages or whatever, or if somebody in your family dies really, really young, unexpectedly, then it's good if they had the long term, because I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to use me. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very transparent. I have a illness, a sickness. So I have an illness. So I no longer qualify for health insurance. Death insurance. But my grandparents got an insurance policy on me when I was a kid. So I got that insurance policy when I was a kid. So even though I have this illness and normally I can qualify for some certain random expensive stuff, I still have money if needed for my burial, because my grandparents bought this policy when I was a kid. Now, I did the same thing for my kids. I bought my kids, both of them have whole life insurance policies, but they also have they have college funds, and then, sorry, my brain's not working. I'm on money, not spelling. Okay, so they both have college funds, and then they also have just a very dry IRA that I just started it for them. So it's going to gain interest for the next 20 years. And then when they get old enough, they'll start putting their own money in there, and then it'll go up. All right, so that's it. So I think you only need long-term insurance if you start it off, if you get a real small policy for your kids when they're young. That way, if they get any diseases or anything when they're, when they get diseases or anything weird, when they're still considered young, they can still be covered, and they can still have something, even if it's not a lot. All right, now let's go into investing. So, investing. All right. You got your stocks, you got your bonds, and you got your commodities. All right, stocks. A stock is literally a piece of paper or a certificate, which a certificate is a piece of paper that says that you own a percentage of a business. All right, and by owning this percentage of this business, at any time, the value of this stock or this business can go up or down. Let's tag in here mutual funds. So let's say MF, mutual funds. Mutual funds is when you share the ownership of the percentage of a stock. So let's be out of the box. Let's not do eggs. Everybody always do eggs. Let's draw a refrigerator. Now, let's say you got food in this refrigerator right here. And these dots is my food. Frozen and dry products, whatever. You know how we do. And a little bit of something on the refrigerator. You know, I like my boxes of cereal. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. Okay, so let's say the refrigerator itself and everything on top is the mutual fund. Hey, thank you for joining. If this is helping you, please share. Please give me some hearts so I know you're learning. And all these dots is the products inside the refrigerator. Now, let's say that each person owned an item in the refrigerator. You don't own the whole refrigerator. You just own this one little piece in the refrigerator. But let's say you don't have enough money to purchase the whole refrigerator. You only got enough money to purchase the little piece in the refrigerator. So what the mutual fund does, the mutual fund allows you to purchase your piece and store it in their refrigerator, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Can I get a yes if that makes sense? If that's helping at all, I'll wait. Because if I need to break it down a little bit more, I can. That's why people always say it's eggs in a basket, because, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, the egg. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll take the hearts as a yes. So the mutual fund allows you to own a percentage, a piece of a percentage of a business, of a stock. So now we broke those two down. So bonds. There's two different kinds of bonds. There is the federal bonds and then there's the state bonds. Pretty much the bonds is another piece of paper where you're loaning the government money. You're letting them borrow your money at a interest rate. So let's say you're saying, okay, government, I got $100. I'm going to give you this bond. You're going to give me this piece of paper and I'm going to give you my $100. And that's pretty much how that is. But then it's like, when I give you this piece of paper back, I want $125. That's pretty much how a bond works. Now, my numbers are not accurate because I am not calculating nothing right now. I'm just giving you the understanding of how a thing works. So, and it's the same way for the state and the federal. It's just each one has their own different rules. Like with the state, you have 50 states, so you got 50 different rules, you know, and then you have the U.S. government as a whole, the federal level, and then the interest rates are different too, depending on which one you go with. Okay, now commodities. Okay, so this is how I explain a commodity, and the investors are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe she explained it like that. But it's just the simplest way to understand what a commodity is. A commodity is the raw thing before the product. So let's say you bought the raw thing. So when it comes to commodities, you can invest on two sides. You can invest on the commodity side, which is the raw side, or you can invest on the stock side. And I'm getting ready to explain it. With the commodities, let's say you invest in the raw thing. The raw thing is the steel. Sorry, it's EEL. So the raw thing is the steel. So you're investing in the company that harvests the steel, bend the steel, make the steel. And then, or you can invest on the stock side and invest in Ford, the truck company that uses the steel. Does that make sense? Or let's see, what's another good simple example? Usually you can invest in, let's say, meat. Let's do meat. And more specifically, let's say pork. So you can invest in, most people do beef, but just for this example, because I'm about to say bacon, pork sounds better to me. I'm sorry. I like pork bacon, even though I don't eat it no more. It just smells good still. So let's go to meats. So meats. Okay, so I'm going to use big pork. So you can invest in the future of the pork, of the pig itself, the oink oink, which that's a commodity. Or you can come up here and invest in the bacon company. So that's the raw product before it's turned into anything. That's the commodity. Or a good example, you can invest in gold. You can invest in gold and invest in the company that go on the ground, find the gold, pull the gold, whatever. Or you can go up here and invest in Kay's jeweler, which now you're investing in the ring. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I call it the raw thing before it's turned into a product. That's like the easiest way that I can explain a commodity. All right, so now, how do you take all this information that I just gave you and turn it into some money? I know that's what somebody's like. Well, you still haven't explained why investing is better than having insurance. When you 60 plus and you've never saved in your life, you need some life insurance and you need some long care. Because your family love you. They're not trying to get rich. They're not trying to make a lot of money or anything like that. They just want to make sure they don't have to do a GoFundMe for your funeral, and they want to make sure you is well taken care of in your end days. I can respect that. And if that's all he was talking about on the radio, I would have been cool with that. But he was talking to people that was 25, 30, and up. I'm sorry. But if I'm 25, or if I'm 30, or in my case, if I'm 36, I want to invest my money in something. This is the stock market. I'm going to be realistic. This is the stock market. I'm going to want to invest my money with something that's down here. Let it grow here. We're going to let it come down. Because most times, this is how the stock market really work. I'm going to show y'all how most times, this is how it really work. Alright. So, if I invest my money down here, let's say this thing cost me $2. I'm just being cheap. I ain't done no calculations either, so my math gonna be off. So, this is just examples so people can understand. So, if you, like I said, if you're 60 plus, thank you for joining. I'm sorry, I didn't even see when you joined. But if you're 60 plus, yes, you do need life insurance, and yes, you do need long-term care. So that way you can have a funeral and you can be taken care of with some decency before you pass away. I understand that. But if you young, if you 25 or under, if you 30 and above, but you ain't got to 60 yet, you need to put some money here. In either one of those other places we said to put money. You can do the stock market, you can do the bonds, you can figure out the commodities. And don't just jump into something. Do your research, ask a lot of questions, find a company, find a person you trust. and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have a little bit of variety. Have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Let's go back here. So if your thing costs $2 the first time you buy it, and it go all the way up to, let's say it's $15. If you ride this market all the way out until you need it, let's say right here I'm 25. Let's say right here I'm 70. You should have started taking your money out right here when you use about 65 or 70. Either taking it out or converting it to something that's not so up and down. Something that's a little bit more like this. Something like that. And you can find those. You find like your Amazons, your Walmarts, companies, not just them. That's just a top example off the top of my head. But companies been around, 75, 100 years. They have proof that for the most part, they don't ever really, their customer base doesn't really go change. And even when times are bad, like this bad, people still need that item. Then that's when you done a good investment. So let's say if this is 15, then maybe this is what? I don't know, 25, or let's say 23. It's not quite double. Okay. Let's say that's 23. So if I bought an item when it was $2 and then it went up to 15, then I have gained $10 right here. Right? So then even when it goes down, it never goes, most of the time it won't ever go back down to the price you bought it if you've bought it a long time ago. Now where people get caught up is the stock market is very emotional. When things get down here, they be wanting to get off the boat. They be wanting to get off the boat. They be wanting to get in the water. And then they complain the rest of their life. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't make no money. I didn't like it. Blah, blah. What happened is when it get down here and down here, and definitely when it get down here and down here, you just need to stay in it. You just need to ride it out. The problem is people wait until they need the money to start taking the money out. When you need the money, that money should have been in a savings account or in a very low risk investment or in a house that you can sell if you want. That's just a couple examples of other places where you should put the money. So right here is when you need to start transitioning your money out. But from here to here, you need to ride the market. And not only that, as you get closer to here, you need to start moving into stuff that's a little safer. So right here, when you're real young, like 25, and you don't need that money for another 40, 50 years, go ahead and ride out the waves. And then as you start getting a little older, you can make your decisions on where you want to put your money. That's all, you guys. If you didn't know, my name is Rachel Solomon, and I am a speaker and an author. I have a class coming up in April. Thank you guys for joining. I'm actually wrapping up. I have a class coming up in April. You can go to bit.ly/Master360 class to find out more information. And if this information was helpful to you, thank you for joining. I am actually ending. If this information was helpful to you, please share it. Please watch the replay. Thank you for the hearts. And you guys have a wonderful day.